In the last year or so, before this year, I've seen several heist films and crime thrillers, and I've just seen a new film in Crime 101 now playing in theaters. But is this new crime thriller worthy enough to get a lot of action and suspense and thrills from? Or is this one just due to be put away for life in the slammer? Find out in this spoiler free review right now. Bad days, entertainment rankings and reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome again to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D, and this time around, I bring to you a spoiler free review of the 2026 crime thriller flick Crime 101, released by Amazon MGM, written and directed by Bart Layton, based on Don Winslow's 2020 novella of the same name, starring Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Barry Keoghan, Monica Barbaro, Corey Hawkins, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Nick Nolte, and Halle Berry. This film just now came out last weekend by Amazon MGM here in the US and Canada and by Sony overseas. Now then, the film takes place in LA where Mike Davis, an elusive and disciplined jewel thief, carefully plans robberies to avoid violence and DNA evidence while escaping via US Route 101. Intercepting a diamond delivery carrying decoys, he steals $3 million in genuine diamonds, but is shaken after being grazed by an unexpected bullet and calls off a planned robbery in Santa Barbara by his excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied. But his Finn's money enlists volatile young biker Orman instead. LAPD Detective Lou Lubsnik links the diamond theft to Mike's string of unsolved robberies and suggests a lone suspect is responsible, but his theory is dismissed. Preparing another heist, Mike pays Devon, a hacker, for information on Sharon, a high-end insurance broker. Long undervalued by her firms, Sharon is further frustrated when a new colleague closes a lucrative deal with the wealthy Stephen Monroe. After Orman violently carries out the Santa Barbara job, Mike cuts ties with Money, who directs Orman to intercept Mike's next heist. While he himself, Mike strikes up a romance with a stranger named Maya after she rear ends his car. He realizes he's being trapped by Orman, who threatens Devon into revealing that Sharon is connected to Mike's plan. Yeah. So that's all the story I will give to you. So if you really want to know what happens then you must see the movie. Now, from what I've seen of Crime 101, if you saw, I had recently done an out the reaction on here yesterday. I am going to say it was not too bad. It was pretty good, pretty awesome, and it had some pretty good action and thrills, just like any other crime flick I've seen in a while. But I gotta say, this is pretty good. I kind of would compare this to stuff that we've recently gotten the last few years, like the Den of Thieves films. Yeah. So I've gotta say, it's a pretty good film. So far, the film's made 29 million on its $90 million budget, but it's really going to have to struggle if it's going to really put Amazon MGM on the scene now. So I wish this film the best of luck. Despite they've had major disappointments for the last few weeks with Mercy and more recently the documentary on the current First Lady, this one, I just hope this will pull it off. I'm serious. Like I said, they'll need it big time. So, anywho, nevertheless, the film has gotten some decent reviews and what have you. The film sits at 87%, where it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Metacritic has a score of 68, and audiences polled by Cinema Score gave it a B. While I'm going to say it proves to be a great film, maybe not great, but great. You know what I'm saying? I will say this film was just so, yeah. Like I said, I would compare this to Damn Thieves. Don't mean it sound like a broken record, but yes, it ended up being pretty good and what have you. Now, actually, this film was actually ended up being more between Amazon and Netflix, with Pedro Pascal originally in the talks alongside Hemsworth before he dropped out due to scheduling conflicts with last year's Fantastic Four First Steps. But anyway, I had to say this is really something. The score is composed by Blanc Mass, who I think does exceptionally very good job. So apparently does pretty good. He's recently done several albums of his own and even soundtracks to other movies, but most of them I'm afraid I'm not familiar with. But I've got to say the soundtrack provided by Black Mass is absolutely incredible. Really something. The action and thrills are pretty good, though. I gotta say, the suspense is pretty good. Some of the story kind of was a little, kind of threw me off at times, but that's just my kind of my issue with the film. But nevertheless, I still enjoyed it, though. For the cast, we have Chris Hemsworth as Mike, who actually has a dual identity, but I won't spoil that for you. You'll just have to go see the movie. Well, I will say he does an exceptionally good job. I mean, I think his performance was even better than another MCU star, which of course was Chris Pratt, whom we just saw in Amazon MGM's recent film Mercy. Next, we have another star from the MCU in this, Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk, playing Detective Lou Lubznik. I must say, he's good in his performance. Barry Keoghan, yeah, that's how you pronounce it. Keoghan. I apologize for mispronouncing that. Who, of course, recently appeared in films like Dunkirk and The Killing of a Sacred Deer, as well as also an MCU star as he was in the criminally hated film Eternals. Well, it was hated on, but well, you get what I'm saying. This film wasn't completely well received completely. He plays Ormond, and I've got to say he's good. Halle Berry may not be part of MCU, but she was in X-Men though. She plays Sharon Combs. I've got to say she's good. Maya, Mike's love interest, is Maka Barbaro, who has also appeared in NBC's Chicago franchise, like in shows like Chicago PD and the short-lived Chicago Justice. Of course, she recently appeared in Top Gun Maverick as Phoenix and as Joan Baez in A Complete Unknown. I must say she's really good in her performance. Corey Hawkins played Lou's partner, Detective Tillman. Of course, Hawkins you may remember of The Walking Dead and Straight Outta Compton fame. Yeah, which I definitely need to make up for missing out on last year for its anniversary and review that. Lou's estranged wife, Angie, is played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, who I know best of Fast Times at Ridgemont High fame. Of course, she's been in numerous other films like Single White Female and Backdraft and Hateful Eight. She was pretty good. Now, one name I failed to mention the out the reaction was seeing Nick Nolte as Money. I've got to say, he's pretty good. We have Tate Donovan as Stephen Monroe, a client of Sharon's, and Devon Bostick as Devon. I've got to say, he's pretty good. So, from what I've seen of the cast, they're pretty good. I think they're really great in Miami in their performances. Well, this just had some issues with the story from my perspective, but I think Crime 101 is really a good film and it's worth looking into. If you're into the Den of Thieves films, then I think you're going to feel right at home with Crime 101. Go see it before it gets removed faster than well whatever and gets into Prime Video. My score, I'm giving Crime 101 4.5 stars. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 9. So, what did you think of Crime 101? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. Join me next time when I bring to you a review of the blaxploitation flick Coffee. So if you like this, check out my reviews for these other crime flicks. Check out the two films I had recently talked about. Check out my review of Den of Thieves in the upper left-hand corner. The upper right-hand corner is my spoiler-free review of its sequel from last year, Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. Or go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my spoiler-free review of the new Netflix film that came out not so long ago last month with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon called The Rip. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.